Hi everybody, I'm happy to be with you again today. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the strategies you can use to handle the changes and adjustments that come about when a new sibling enters the family. When a new member enters the family, it increases the complexity of the relationships and there are bound to be some changes. The strategies I talk to you would be particularly relevant to a second child coming in. However, you can use the same strategies to handle the third or a fourth child that comes in with the elder siblings. So first I will talk to you about some of the behaviors and emotions that you can expect to see from your elder child or children, and then we'll look at how can we handle these particular behaviors and emotions that come up. Now, I'd like you to think about the time that you first married and you found out that you were expecting a baby. Such exciting news, and then 9 months later you get this child and you bring the child home and your life completely changes. You are now nurturing this young child who requires a lot of your attention, and this is changing your priorities and thereby the relationship that you had with your spouse, with family members and others as well, as you all nurture this young child. It's a big change, it's a bundle of joy and fully worth it. Now, your child is maybe 1 or 2 years old and you are expecting your second child, and you bring this bundle of joy home and the complexities of the relationship has changed again, because now you have a younger child who is faced with a very different situation where, from being the focus of attention, having a lot of things happening around him, now there is a younger child that a lot of family members and you yourself have to spend taking care of. Now, even as adults, these changes that we experience when a new member comes in can be very hard. There are new things to get used to. We experience anger, frustration, but as adults, we are able to understand what's going on. We are able to see the different sides, and we are also able to express ourselves and handle it this way. But as young children do not have the same capacity. They would have feelings that come up. The most common would be jealousy, and that's the most normal as well. But they wouldn't know exactly how to deal with it. And it becomes very important that you're able to help your elder child handle these feelings, handle the new relationship, so that not only do you further strengthen your bond with your elder child, you're also nurturing a relationship between the siblings at this time. Your second child has a lot of needs, basic care needs that you must take care of. The child's routine will set the tone for the household. Your elder child will not necessarily understand this, and there are a lot of behaviors that you can expect to see, and these behaviors will vary according to the age of the child. So up to 2 years, you might see things like regressing back into baby talk, or crawling where they used to walk, or demanding attention for you in this way. They might want to approach the child and kiss the new sibling, but at the same time, they could be a little bit more rough with the child, squeeze the child, maybe even hit the child when you're not watching the child. When the child is older, say 2 to 4 years old, you would expect different kinds of behaviors. The basic emotions that you would expect them to express, as is normal, would be jealousy, and a lot of the behaviors that come up would be an expression of this jealousy that they are experiencing and not able to properly face themselves and also tell you. So one of the things you would see as a child gets older is maybe tantrums. These tantrums would be now last longer. They would be more demanding of your attention when you have to spend time with the baby, feeding the baby or the like. You would also expect to see sometimes more aggressive behaviors like hitting and repeatedly hitting. Maybe you might even hear them say things like, "I think you should send the baby back to the hospital," or "I really don't like this baby." What you need to know is, at this point, just as much as there is jealousy, there is also a lot of conflicted emotions. There's a lot of love that the child would feel for this new sibling, but at the same time, they don't know they associate what they have lost the focus and attention of the family with this child. So when we are trying to handle elder children with their new siblings in place, we would want to keep these things in mind. Now, if we understand all behaviors as an expression of need, one thing we would want to do is to observe the behavior and try to see what the need is behind the behavior, and also help our elder child to express that need that they have, because they are not going to be able to. So if your child is between the ages of 2 and up to 2 years old, you would want to help them to articulate more what they are feeling and validate that feeling, because like I said, all of us have had siblings at some point and have been displaced in the family attention lineup, and have therefore experienced jealousy. And we are fine, because there were ways in which to handle this, and this is the way that we also have to approach our child. And a 2-year-old is not going to understand what we explain, so the way we work with our child has to be a little bit different. Now, 3 to 4-year-olds are going to be better able to understand, so that we are going to also be better able to express and tell them and help them to work through their feelings. So here are some of the strategies that you could use. So let's think first that it is the acceptance of this child that is the problem, right? There's an ambivalence. I have lost my place. So here are some of the things you can do. Your child is going to be, especially if, this is fine for all ages, but particularly 0 to 2 years, okay? So, your new child has come home, and there's a lot of gifts for this child. So maybe you can plan beforehand with your family members, so that there are 1 or 2 gifts for the elder sibling as well, so that he does not feel displaced in this manner. This is something that you can make in terms of more concerted effort with your entire family, so that the family also knows that when they come to see the baby, that they pay equal attention to the elder child, and so the elder child understands that while there is someone new, a sibling for himself, they also are not going to be losing all the attention. At this time, even as young as 2 years old, it's really important that you talk to your child and help your child to understand that you see the kind of conflict that he is going through, or the kind of the sadness he feels by the lack of attention, and help to validate their feelings, and also appreciate that this relationship you have with your elder child will continue despite this new entrant. Another important thing here is you will see good behaviors and bad behaviors. A good way to reinforce some behaviors while discontinuing others is through your verbal praise. So you would want to praise your elder child for behaviors that are very positive towards the baby, and also positive towards you, and positive towards the family. And in this way, the child knows, okay, this is a way in which I can get attention. Now, sometimes you might see some behaviors that are negative towards the child. You might want to overlook them depending on the severity of it. But I'll talk to you a little bit more about what you can do when you see continued and severe behaviors towards the child, particularly in terms of hitting and attempting to harm the baby in some way, right? So for the most part, first you would want to reinforce good behaviors with praise, and also make sure that any negative behaviors are not reinforced by giving excessive attention to it, so that the child thinks that this is the way I will now get attention. The next important thing, and this no matter what, no matter how many children, is that you have quality time that you spend with this child that is undisturbed by doing other things. You can use this time for play, to tell stories, just to talk about what the child is doing. And stories is another good way in which you can talk about how to bring in a new child, and the kind of challenges that you can expect, and also the joys that you can expect with a new sibling. let's say your child is between 3 to 4 years old. Now the child is much older and much more able to have interactions outside the home. So one thing you might want to do from the time you are expecting the second child is to begin play dates and help him to have things outside the home. So there will be times that he or she would be able to go out and you would be able to do baby things. And then he will come back and you will be able to spend time with him. So there is, and also that you do this before helps the child to understand it, that it's not because of this child that I must now go out and spend time with others, but it's because he is getting bigger and also more capable of this kind of interaction. Stories work well here as well. It's a really good way to help them through whatever conflicting emotions they are having, and it's also okay to validate their feelings and tell them that it is okay that sometimes they might feel sad or angry, but you must ensure that the behaviors that express this are not harmful to yourself or others, because sometimes children can hit the baby, sometimes the children can also hit you, and they need to know that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. Another strategy you can use is to establish a routine whereby it's very clear the times and things that must happen during the day in this household. As the child is older, another thing that you can really work through is you can get the elder child to help you with tasks towards looking after the child, the new sibling. So things like, you're changing the baby, you would want him to help you with the diapers, preparing for meals, bring the bottle. In that way, the elder child is also incorporated within the care of this new child. Now, most particularly, I think I need to talk to you about what happens if there is a lot of hitting and this continues and this behavior does not change with time. Here, it is very important that you set a boundary, and you say, okay, look, I'm not going to allow you to hit this child, and set that boundary there. When you set boundaries, make sure that you are calm so that your presence tells your child, look, I'm not reacting, I'm not angry, I'm still accepting of you, but I'm not accepting this. Calm and firm, that's the best you can be here. Now, what you need to understand here is this is again a very challenging situation for you, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to be kind to yourself. You're going to have good days, bad days, some days you're going to say something off. That's fine. Be kind to yourself and ensure that you're kind to both your children and the children are kind to each other. Thank you.